When you mention the word nostalgia and Texas wrestling, probably no two men are going to evoke as much nostalgia and as much memory as the two you are going to see in action right now. You are looking at the back of Duke Keomuka as he chops away now at Ricki Starr and drives those wallops into the young man who got his wrestling start in the state of Texas and proved that despite the fact that he was under 200 pounds, he was going to make a name for himself. The referee is Leo Voss in this match, and Duke Keomuka is trying his best to overcome a shifty young man whose father was a wrestler and his father was a referee and who wrestled it at Purdue and then decided to go into the pro wrestling game. Where is Ricki Starr today? Well, that question is often asked, but Ricki Starr is in England or France, depending on how long he can stay in either place. He is involved somewhat in wrestling, somewhat in nightclub work. He sings, he dances, and he will long and always be remembered for the fact that after he became a well known figure in wrestling, he switched his shoes and put on ballet slippers and suddenly became aware of the fact that he had done ballet dancing in the St. Louis Municipal Opera, and he transferred it to the ring. Duke Keomuka, one of the toughest people ever to wrestle in a Texas ring, and remembered for that fact. And even here, as he tosses Ricki Starr around, he is leaving impressions in the minds of fans. Duke lives in Tampa, Florida. He is involved with wrestling in Florida. He is also involved with wrestling in Japan. And you can see that Ricki Starr preceded some of these people who bounced into the ring in great fashion. And the driving wallops that he is throwing at Keomuka equal the chops that Keomuka has been handing to his opponents. Leo Voss now, the count was the same then. 20 if you're on the floor and 10 if you're on the apron. And that head scissor that brought Duke Keomuka into the ring can see its counterpart in the flying tactics of today. This match somewhere in the early 1960s, and both contestants still have a hold on fans who saw them then and who often ask about the where they might be. So when we speak of nostalgia, Ricki Starr certainly evokes the pangs of memory in great fashion, but Duke Keomuka even more so because he lasted longer as a top notcher. He met the greats with greater success, and he typified to the rest of the wrestling world. Notice the bridge that Ricki is coming uh, through with right now as he rises up from the canvas to protect his shoulders. Ricki was agile and he was tremendously well schooled in wrestling. His size at that time and always was a factor in his difficulties. On the outside of the ring, you see um, uh, that looks to me like George Preston, who was very colorful ring announcer and who often took sides in what took place in the ring. And he is rooting for Ricki Starr, and George Preston often was involved vocally with the feelings of the fans, and he had no hesitancy about calling uh, for the man he chose to be the favorite in the match to get out of a hold or to do something, and he did it on the loudspeaker often. Duke Keomuka and Ricki Starr, and Ricki with those flying feet of his and the speed that he used so well. And this flying mare gives you an idea of another hold that Ricki Starr was able to use with a great deal of success because of his ability dancing, if you will. He learned that first, and here he is flying around in a manner that makes this match truly a great one for the nostalgia of what used to be Texas wrestling.